The last few centuries have been pretty incredible for science. In the 16th century, Copernicus changed our understanding of the universe by proving that Earth wasn't the center of it. In the 17th, Galileo Galilei revealed hidden wonders of the cosmos through his telescope. In the 18th, Captain James Cook charted vast regions of the Pacific that were still unknown to Europeans. In the 19th, Heinrich Schliemann found the legendary city of Troy. In the 20th, humans landed on the moon and unlocked the secrets of Dina. What more could you want? Well, there are still plenty of mysteries left to solve, especially the ancient ones. And today, we'll be looking at the 15 most disturbing ancient mysteries that, despite years of research, still have no explanation. Number 15. Los Miaris, the fortress that watched the dead long before Rome, before Greece, and long before most of Europe had begun building anything larger than simple villages. A community in southern Spain was raising walls that seemed far beyond their time. Los Miaris stood above the landscape, surrounded by multiple rings of stone defenses, guarding hundreds of people who lived, worked, and buried their dead there more than 5,000 years ago. The settlement was no ordinary village. Copper was being smelted here, tools were being crafted, and trade appears to have linked the community to distant regions. But the most puzzling part remains the huge effort poured into protection. The walls are so extensive that they raise an uncomfortable question. Who exactly were these people afraid of? Outside the settlement lie dozens of stone tombs filled with collective burials and carefully placed offerings. Even now, those silent chambers seem to suggest that the dead remained important long after life ended. Los Miaris disappeared thousands of years ago, but its walls still seem to be guarding secrets no one has managed to find. And maybe will never. Number 14. The lonely tiger of Yarim Tepe. Ancient civilizations left behind countless images of animals, gods, and rulers. What they rarely leave behind is a single object that seems completely disconnected from everything around it. That's exactly what happened at Yarim Tepe. Among the artifacts recovered from the site was a small clay tiger dating back more than 5,000 years. It isn't large or covered in precious materials. In fact, most people would probably walk past it without a second glance. But archaeologists remain fascinated by it for one simple reason. It appears to stand alone. Despite its age, details of the animal are still visible. Stripes run across its body and its features remain unmistakably feline. The mystery comes from the lack of similar examples. Comparable tiger imagery does not appear again in the region for thousands of years. That leaves historians with a difficult question. Why was this animal important enough to be carefully shaped from clay? Number 13. The stone ship on the cliff. A row of stones standing in a field isn't usually enough to spark centuries of debate. Then again, Ale's stones isn't just a row of stones. Set high above the Baltic Sea on Sweden's southern coast, the monument forms the unmistakable outline of a giant ship. 49 massive stones create the shape, giving the impression that a vessel has been frozen in place while sailing toward the horizon. Local legends claim the site marks the grave of King Ael the Strong, a ruler whose story sits somewhere between history and myth. The stones themselves raise even more questions. Archaeologists generally date the monument to around 4,100 years ago, but proof suggests human activity at the site stretches back much further. Some estimates point to burials thousands of years older than the monument visible today. That gap has never been explained. Number 12. Silistani. The towers raised for the dead on a windswept peninsula overlooking Lake Umayo, stone towers rise against the sky with a confidence that feels almost defiant. Centuries have passed, empires have fallen, and yet the chulpas of Silistani remain standing, watching over the landscape as they always have. These towers were built as tombs, but calling them tombs hardly captures their presence. Some reach heights of more than 40 feet and were constructed with a precision that continues to impress modern visitors. Their builders shaped giant stones so precisely that the joints remain bizarrely tight even today. Many of the entrances face east, greeting the sunrise each morning. Inside, archaeologists found mummified remains accompanied by offerings intended for a journey beyond death. That much is known. What we don't know is why these structures were designed in such unusual ways. Several towers grow wider toward the top instead of down, reversing expectations and challenging conventional engineering logic. Standing among them, it becomes clear that Silistani was never simply a burial ground. It was a statement that we can't explain. Number 11. Alexander of Abonoteichus history remembers many prophets, mystics, and great leaders. But few remain as controversial as Alexander of Abonoteichus. Living during the height of the Roman Empire, Alexander rose to prominence after claiming that he received divine revelations from a serpent deity known as Glycon. According to his followers, Glycon appeared as a snake with a human head and possessed extraordinary powers connected to wisdom and healing. Alexander traveled through cities and towns sharing prophecies, offering guidance, and attracting a growing number of believers. His influence expanded rapidly, earning him followers across the region and allowing him to become one of the most recognized religious figures of his time. As his popularity increased, so did criticism. Skeptics accused him of deception and questioned the authenticity of his claims. Despite the controversy, his movement continued to grow and eventually reached influential members of society. Alexander lived into his 70s, but after his death, support for his teachings gradually faded. Famines, hardships, and unanswered promises caused many followers to question their beliefs. So, was Alexander a gifted visionary or a clever manipulator? Number 10. Teepe Seielk. The hill built by forgotten generations near the edge of the Iranian desert, this mound looks unremarkable from a distance. Beneath that dusty hill, however, lies a story written over thousands of years by people whose names vanished long ago. Teepe Seielk was not built in a single age. Layer upon layer, generation after generation, communities lived there, left their mark, disappeared, and were replaced by others. Excavations revealed some of the oldest traces of organized life in the region. Pottery evolved, burial customs changed, and architecture became increasingly sophisticated. Among the discoveries were remains of what many believe may have been an early stepped religious structure. Centuries before the great monuments of Mesopotamia dominated the horizon. What keeps archaeologists debating is not simply what was built there, but why. Certain areas appear to have held special importance, but no records survive to explain their purpose. The mound preserves evidence of ambition, belief, and social change, but it refuses to reveal the complete picture. Every layer answers one question while creating another. It's what makes it one of a kind. Number 9. The once-in-a-lifetime Pictish stone across Scotland. Carved Pictish stones have long served as silent witnesses to a civilization that left few written records behind. In the county of Angus, archaeologists had already documented 4 remarkable stones decorated with symbols dating between 500 and 800 AD. Then a 5th example surfaced, adding another chapter to the story. The newly discovered stone appears to confirm that the area played a far greater role in Pictish society than previously believed. Like the earlier examples, it carries symbols that combine both pre-Christian traditions and later Christian influences, reflecting a period of cultural change across the region. Historians believe these carvings functioned as a form of communication. Rather than simple decoration, the symbols may have recorded social status, territorial information, political connections, or important events. More than 200 smaller symbol stones have already been found throughout Scotland, appearing on objects ranging from tools to jewelry. The 5th large stone is unique because it had been reused as building material before its rediscovery. After centuries of silence, it is once again helping historians piece together the missing story of ancient Scotland. Number 8. The Bighorn medicine wheel, this circle of stones in the Wyoming Bighorn Mountains, has inspired questions for years. From above, it resembles a giant wheel resting on the earth, its spokes extending outward from a central point toward the horizon. The structure is believed to be hundreds of years old, possibly much older, and was created by indigenous peoples whose understanding of the landscape ran far deeper than most outsiders ever realized. Several alignments appear connected to celestial events, including the summer solstice and the rising positions of important stars. That alone would make the site remarkable. But the wheel feels like more than an astronomical marker. Its remote location, careful construction, and enduring cultural significance suggest something larger. A place where observation, ceremony, and tradition may have merged into one experience. Many interpretations have been proposed over the years, but none fully explain every detail. The stones remain exactly where they have always been, preserving knowledge that was once understood without writing. Whatever purpose the wheel originally served, it clearly meant far more to its builders than a simple arrangement of rocks on a mountain ridge. Number 7. The glass brain cells of Herculaneum nearly 2,000 years after Mount Vesuvius devastated the Roman world. The eruption continues to produce discoveries that seem almost impossible to believe. One of the strangest emerged from the ancient city of Herculaneum. Researchers examining human remains found something rarely seen in nature: glass formed from human brain tissue. The victim is believed to have died during the catastrophic eruption of 79 AD, when a superheated ash cloud swept through the city. Creating glass naturally requires an extremely unusual sequence of events. Material must first be exposed to intense heat and then cool rapidly enough to prevent crystals from forming. Scientists analyzed samples taken from inside the skull and spinal area using X-rays and electron microscopy. Their findings suggested temperatures exceeded 950 degrees Fahrenheit before dropping rapidly. Lava alone cannot explain such conditions because it cools too slowly, but a fast-moving ash cloud could provide the crucial circumstances. Number 6. The fossil that rewrote its own story for decades, a small Cambrian fossil known as Shishania, was believed to belong to the early ancestors of mollusks, placing it with creatures like snails, clams, and slugs. That interpretation appeared settled until newer technology allowed researchers to examine the fossil in greater detail. What they discovered changed everything. Instead of being related to mollusks, Shishania now appears to share closer connections with strange sponge-like organisms known as chancellorids. These ancient marine creatures lived on the seafloor hundreds of millions of years ago and looked very different from the animals Shishania was once grouped with. The breakthrough came after scientists analyzed exceptionally preserved specimens that revealed anatomical details previously impossible to study. Those details suggested that earlier assumptions about its evolutionary position had been mistaken. The discovery reaches beyond a single fossil. It forces researchers to reconsider how certain body structures evolved during the Cambrian period, one of the most important chapters in the history of life on Earth. Number 5. Por-Bajin. The fortress nobody used imagined spending massive resources constructing a massive complex, complete with walls, courtyards, gates, and planned buildings, only to abandon it almost immediately. That is the mystery of Por-Bajin. Built during the 8th century by the Uyghur Khaganate, the site occupies an isolated island in Siberia and covers more than 5 acres. Its layout resembles a carefully designed administrative center or palace. Chinese architectural influence is visible throughout the structure, suggesting connections between powerful cultures separated by vast distances. Everything about the site suggests importance. The problem is that almost nobody appears to have lived there. Archaeologists found surprisingly little evidence of long-term occupation. There are a few signs of everyday life, limited evidence of cooking, and no activity expected of a permanent settlement. Some studies suggest earthquakes may have damaged the site shortly after construction. But this explanation doesn't settle the question. Why build such an ambitious project in such a remote location if it was never meant to thrive? All right, now, let's take a look at number 4. The book that defeated every decoder. Most ancient manuscripts eventually surrender their secrets. Given enough time, someone translates the language, cracks the code, or uncovers the missing context. The Rohanc codex has done the exact opposite. Since appearing in the archives of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences in 1838, the manuscript has resisted every serious attempt at interpretation. Its pages contain hundreds of strange symbols that belong to no known writing system. Linguists, historians, cryptographers, and amateur codebreakers have all tried to understand it. None has succeeded. The illustrations make the mystery even harder to ignore. Battles, religious scenes, fortified settlements, and unfamiliar banners appear throughout the manuscript, suggesting a coherent story lies hidden within its pages. But nobody can agree on what that story might be. Scientific analysis later revealed that the paper dates back to 16th century Italy, confirming that the codex is really old. Beyond that, the trail goes cold. So, in short, it's a book no one can read. Number 3. The tomb that preserved everyday life. Road construction projects occasionally uncover traces of the past, but few discoveries offer a glimpse into daily life as clearly as this one. During work in Taiwan, archaeologists found a Tang Dynasty tomb dating to 736 AD. While ancient tombs often feature images of rulers, mythical creatures, or religious symbols, the artwork inside this burial chamber tells a very different story. Painted across its walls are scenes that would have been familiar to ordinary people living more than 13 centuries ago. Men and women are shown grinding grain, preparing food, making noodles, carrying out household tasks, and bathing. These were simple moments that rarely found their way into elite artwork, making the murals especially valuable to historians. One image has attracted particular attention. Among the figures is a foreign trader with light-colored hair, likely representing someone who traveled vast distances along ancient trade routes. His presence reflects the cultural connections that existed across Asia during the Tang period. Rather than celebrating power, this tomb preserves something far rarer, a snapshot of everyday life. Number 2. The Sumerian foundation figurines. Most people never think about what lies beneath the walls of a building. Once the structure is finished, the foundation disappears from sight and usually from memory. The ancient Sumerians saw things differently. Before a temple, gate, or important structure could be completed, small figurines were often placed beneath specific parts of the foundation. Archaeologists have uncovered many of these objects in ancient cities such as Lagash. Some were made from copper, others from clay or stone, but their placement followed a pattern. They were carefully sealed beneath walls, entrances, and structural corners before construction continued above them. Many even carried inscriptions asking divine powers to protect the building. That level of consistency is what makes them so intriguing. These were not random offerings tossed into the ground. They appear to have served a defined purpose within Sumerian religious life. Ancient texts describe temples as places connecting the human and divine worlds. Why did they make them? Number 1. The ancient dolmen of Manga. Most ancient monuments are designed to follow the sun. The builders of Manga did something unique. Near the Spanish city of Antequera stands one of Europe's most amazing megalithic structures. Massive stone blocks weighing many tons form a passageway leading into a chamber buried beneath the earth. The scale alone is astonishing. Moving stones of that size would challenge even modern equipment, yet Neolithic builders managed the feat thousands of years ago. The mystery deepens when its orientation is examined. Rather than facing a solar event, the monument points toward a distant mountain known as Pico de los Enamorados. The mountain's profile resembles a human face resting on the horizon, creating a connection that appears deliberate rather than accidental. Why align such an important structure with a mountain instead of the sky? No surviving record provides an answer. Archaeologists believe Manga served as a collective burial place, but that explanation feels incomplete. What's your? If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon in the next one.